The 7 essential money lessons you never learned in school. Ugh, it blows my mind that you can just go to school for 16 or more years of your life and not learn a thing about how to manage your money. What's the point of going to school so you can get a job, earn money, if you don't learn how to keep any of the money you make? It's insane. I think it's a huge conspiracy because the more money you spend, the more you feed consumerism, and the more you stay in debt, and that's how the man keeps everyone in line. Okay, conspiracy theories aside, it's never too late to start getting smart with your money, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, or even 60s. So let's get into the 7 essential money lessons you never learned in school. The first essential money lesson is how to distinguish a sales pitch from quality financial advice. Especially in the world of investing and insurance, anything financial, you can safely assume that pretty much everyone is after your money. Financial newsletters want you to pay and sign up for their stock tips. Stockbrokers want to generate commissions off of you. Insurance agents want to generate commissions off of you as well. And everyone is looking to get their share of your money. So too many well-meaning people just get sold on mutual funds, horrible life insurance policies that aren't necessarily the best choice for them, but gives a big fat commission to whoever sold it to them. They may think that whoever sold it to them was giving them good advice, but maybe it was just a sales pitch. And this happened to my parents on both fronts. A mutual fund that ended up losing most of their money, while the fund managers made fat fees off of them regardless, as well as a variable life insurance policy that was a total money sink for years and years. It happens to many people, more than I would like to know. I'm all about getting advice from experts and not flying blind, but you want to be discerning about where you get your advice, especially when it comes to managing your money. I really wish schools had taught us how to distinguish a sales pitch from quality financial advice. The best way to make sure that you're getting good financial advice instead of a sales pitch is to look for what's called a fiduciary. A fiduciary is a licensed professional who is legally obligated to put client interests ahead of their own. If they pitched you something that was only good for them but not good for you, they would get in big trouble with the SEC, so you could definitely count on a fiduciary for quality financial advice. Sometimes you might think that person that you're talking to at the bank, brokerage, or insurance company may have your best interests at heart, but if they can't show you their fiduciary registration, you really shouldn't trust them, quite frankly. A fiduciary should be able to show you an SEC filing called Form ADV Part 2A, which is the official document that you have to file in order to officially be considered a fiduciary. Another essential money lesson you never learned in school is how to save money on taxes. Did you know that taxes are going to be your single biggest expense over your lifetime? According to this Forbes article, someone earning $100,000 a year can expect to pay over $760,000 in taxes over their lifetime, or $1.4 million when adjusted for inflation. So it obviously makes sense to get super savvy on how to save money in this area. Yet I've never heard of any high school or college that offer classes on how to cut your tax bill. But then again, if you think about it, why would the government or the powers that be want you to know this stuff? They want you to pay all your taxes because that essentially means more revenue for them. That's why you gotta take matters into your own hands. Now, I'm not saying that everybody is evil and out to get your money. It's just that nobody's gonna care about your financial well-being as much as you do. Everyone's looking out for themselves, so you really have to take matters into your own hands. The first thing to know about saving money on taxes is that different types of income gets taxed differently. So paycheck income or earned income, your salary, this is the worst type of income to work for from a tax perspective because it has the highest tax rates, and there are pretty much very few tax deductions that you can take. On the other hand, business income or income generated from a business that you own or from being self-employed, this is better because you actually pay taxes on what's left after you pay your expenses. And you can also take a lot more tax deductions, like potentially for meals, for supplies. There's just a lot more breathing room there and flexibility to reduce your tax bill. And last but not least, investment income. This is the best from a tax perspective because it has the lowest tax rates out of all three. It's true, earnings from owning stocks and real estate can sometimes be taxed as little as 0%, whereas earnings from your paycheck, you're never gonna get away with 0%. It's gonna be more like anywhere from 25 to 50%. I talk about how these different types of income are taxed in this video right here in more detail. So be sure to check it out to learn more about why not all income is created equally and how you can use this information to lower your tax bill. Something else you can start doing right away to save money on taxes is to start contributing to your 401k at work, or open a Roth or a traditional IRA, because these are both accounts that give you a bunch of tax deductions to help you build up a nest egg to invest with and save for retirement. So if you're not taking advantage of one or all of these accounts, you're putting a lot of money on the table, definitely paying way too much in taxes. So I have a bunch of videos about these accounts and where to open them on my channel, so check it out. Next up, the third essential money lesson you never learned in school is how to talk about money with your friends and family. Normally, we share all kinds of information with the people around us about health, career, travel, food, and this helps us learn from each other's mistakes and benefit from each other's experience. But for whatever reason, money isn't one of those regular happy hour or dinner table conversation topics. I grew up in a household where money was a source of significant stress, yet it wasn't discussed at all. And nobody at school really talked about it either. So I literally didn't learn anything about personal finance until I entered the school of hard knocks, aka learning in real life the hard way on my own as an adult. I graduated with so many student loans, spent way too much money, and I felt so much shame around it for so long because I just never talked about it with anyone. And I didn't find out till way later on that a lot of my friends and peers were in the same boat. Had I shared more about my financial stress, I probably could have found a lot of support and encouragement, not felt so alone, and basically learned how to manage my money better, quicker, by learning from other people who were going through the same stuff. However, the moment I started sharing with my friends and my family about my student loans, I instantly felt better. And that is what enabled me to shift my attention from feeling all heavy and embarrassed about it to actually just paying it off. In this video right here, I talk more about my debt-free journey, so definitely check it out if you are feeling burdened by debt and need some encouragement to pay it off. So if you're struggling with any negative feelings because you think your financial situation is really bad and everyone else is doing better than you, then you're definitely not the only one in your situation, whether your problem is debt or not enough money or even too much money. So don't feel stupid about it, don't feel bad about it, because if you never learned anything about personal finance, that means nobody else learned this stuff either. So start sharing openly about your finances with people you trust. And nowadays, I really love talking about money. It's my favorite subject, clearly. And it's really nice to learn from my friends and have this symbiotic relationship, share stock tips, tips on how to budget, and all these great things. Another essential money lesson you never learned in school is how to budget. Budgeting is basically telling your money where to go before it goes to Uber Eats, Seamless, Amazon, or Netflix, or wherever people spend their money. So I don't really believe in maintaining spreadsheets and budgeting out every single line item of your life, but you do have to have a general idea of how much you spend and what you spend your money on. One popular form of budgeting is where you track every dollar you make and every dollar you spend using some sort of app such as Mint or YNAB, and this is called zero-based budgeting, where you basically give every dollar a job. So either that dollar goes towards paying bills or paying off debt or some discretionary spending, a specific line item, or towards some sort of financial goal. A more hands-off form of budgeting is the pay-yourself budget, which is the one that I currently do myself. And with a pay-yourself budget, you save a portion of everything you make, just some sort of fixed percentage amount, and then you just pay your bills and you have fun with the rest. Regardless of the type of budgeting you do, just pick a system that works for you and learn and practice how to do it. Otherwise, you'll never get out of that cycle of living paycheck to paycheck and wondering where your money went each month. So we don't learn budgeting in school, but it is something you can quite easily teach yourself. The fifth essential money lesson that you never learned in school is the difference between being rich and looking rich. You can easily drive a really nice car, live in a really nice home, and wear expensive clothes, but if you have no investments, no money saved up, and nothing but a bunch of debt, you're actually really poor. And I didn't really get this until I became more of an adult. And this is a situation that many Americans are in. They look rich, but they're actually in a very financially delicate situation. According to this CNBC article, $1,000 emergency would push a lot of Americans into debt. Crazy, right? And this is in one of the richest countries in the world. Just goes to show, looking rich doesn't actually mean you are rich by any means. I wish I'd understood this when I got my first summer internship on Wall Street as a college student, and I immediately started making my first full-time adult paycheck. So when I got my first pay deposit, I immediately thought, oh my god, I'm rich, and then I went and bought a bunch of stuff, like $1,000 set of Rimowa luggage, a bunch of $200 dresses at French Connection, and on a bunch of other stuff that I don't even really remember now. So I certainly looked rich that summer. I mean, anyone with a big enough paycheck can look rich, but when my summer internship was over, I went right back to being a broke college student. So the true definition of a rich person is someone who has assets. I don't mean assets like fancy Rimowa luggage and expensive dresses, but I'm talking stocks, bonds, real estate, stuff that puts money in your pocket. And not only does a rich person have assets, but they have a lot less in liabilities that offset those assets. So assets put money in your pocket by either throwing off some cash flow or something that appreciates in value so you can sell for a gain, whereas liabilities take money out of your pocket in the form of interest or principal that you have to pay every month. If you have more assets than liabilities, then you have what's called a positive net worth. And the more positive and bigger your net worth, the richer you are. Notice that the size of your paycheck has nothing to do with this. Even if you make minimum wage, if you have a high net worth, then you are actually richer than someone who makes $200,000 a year salary but has a negative net worth. If someone had gently taken me aside before my summer internship and told me, hey, use this money to actually get rich and not just look rich, and if they'd actually shown me how to do that, I'd probably be rich by now. I don't know, maybe not, but cool to think about. The next essential money lesson you never learned in school is how credit cards work. Somehow spending money on plastic just doesn't seem like spending real money, but there is a real cost to credit cards that completely destroys your ability to build any sort of wealth. Unfortunately, I've never heard of a school that actually teaches a class on how to use credit cards wisely. It's so easy to swipe your card, and a lot of people, especially young people, will get themselves into trouble because they don't understand the concept that you're basically front-loading your spending whenever you swipe your card, and you're borrowing money from your future. And eventually all that catches up to you. For a long time, I would carry a balance on my credit card and pay only the minimums and just not really think about what that was costing me in interest every month. But here's a little explanation on how credit card interest really works. Every credit card comes with an APR, or annual percentage rate. Although this looks like an interest rate, you'll actually end up paying more in interest than what this number shows. And that's because credit card interest compounds daily. Here's an example. Let's say your credit card has an APR of 20%. Well, to calculate your credit card's interest rate, you have to convert this to a daily rate by dividing that APR by 365. This is going to tell you how much interest you'll be charged every day on your balance. So an APR of 20% equals a daily rate of 0.548%. That means if you start the month with a $1,000 balance, on day 2 of that month, your balance actually grows to $1,005.48. Then on day 3, you get charged 0.548% on that balance, so that grows the balance to $1,010.99. Then on day 4, you get charged another 0.548% on that balance, which grows it to $1,016.53. By day 30 of that month, that $1,000 initial balance has grown to $1,171.74, just from the interest that compounded daily. So you're actually paying a lot more on your credit card than the 20% advertised APR. So credit card companies make a ton of money off consumers who just don't realize how much credit card interest is costing them. If all you pay is the minimum payment every month, yeah, that's gonna save you the late fees and creditors aren't gonna bother you, and your credit score is still gonna stay high, but the minimum payment barely wipes out last month's interest. And if you keep doing that, you'll have a really hard time getting off the debt treadmill. Ideally, you pay off your credit card balance in full every single month. That way, you can still get all the airline miles and the rewards and all the awesome stuff that you get with credit cards, but you don't get the detrimental side effects of credit card interest. I really wish I'd known this stuff when I got out of school. Last but not least, the 7th essential money lesson you never learned in school is how to build a good credit score. Your credit score is super important, but unfortunately, most people don't find out until it's a little too late. You need a good credit score in order to apply for apartments, apply for credit cards, mortgages, or loans of any kind. There are 6 factors that go into your credit score, and you can start working on these as soon as you turn 18. So the most important factors are payment history, or the percentage of payments you've made on time, also credit card utilization, so how much credit you're using compared to your overall credit limit, and also derogatory marks. In other words, if there are any collections or bankruptcies filed in your name. Other less important factors that affect your credit score are credit age, so the average age of all of your accounts, also the number of total accounts, both in the past and present, and finally, the number of hard inquiries, or the number of times that you've applied for credit. I think it's a good idea to start building your credit as soon as you can, even when you're still in school. And there are plenty of credit cards out there for students, and even if you don't have a credit history at all. So definitely start with those as soon as you turn 18, which is pretty much when you can apply for a credit card. A lot of these starter credit cards are gonna be have a really small credit limit and not have any of all those perks and rewards and bonus points. So maybe you'll have like a $500 credit limit, but if you put your phone bill on it and some other regular small recurring expenses, and then you pay it off every month, you're gonna have a really great credit score by the time you graduate college and it's time to apply for apartments and things like that. In conclusion, do I think it's crazy that we didn't learn any of the stuff in school? Yeah. Do I think it's sad that a lot of adults go their whole lives without ever learning this stuff? Yeah. But is there anything we can do about it? Yes. Clearly, there is something majorly lacking in the education system, but you can take matters into your own hands and just seek out this financial education on your own. Because at the end of the day, having financial literacy is what's gonna allow you to make good financial decisions and ultimately live an amazing life of your own choosing. Thank you so much for watching. I post new videos every Wednesday about making money, saving money, and investing money. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next week, same time, same place. Appreciate you. Bye.